The 2020 Volta Region most promising young cocoa farmer is bitter about the delay by the Agriculture Ministry and Cocoa Board in releasing the prices that came with his award. According to Samuel Ameko, despite several follow-ups to the relevant institutions, he's yet to lay hands on the items he had hoped to use to expand his farm. Samuel, who resides in the United Kingdom, visits his farm annually, says this development, coupled with the lack of logistics and support, demoralizes young farmers who toil to contribute to the Ghanaian economy. Joining us, Fred Kwame Asare visited his farm at Kitikpa Abutuma in the Hohoe municipality of the Volta region and came through with the following report.
Samuel Ameko, though resides in the United Kingdom, deemed it fit to cultivate a vast arable land his grandfather left behind. The 42-year-old took a giant step in 2010 and started cultivating cocoa on 10 acres of the land in Kitikpa Abutuma on the banks of River Dine, which laid barren. Samuel, who works in the UK as a propping and jacking technician, devoted his time to the farm, not only to make gains, but to serve as a motivation for youth in the Hohoe municipality.
I come back to Ghana every 3 times in a year. That was on the initial stages when I started the farm, because my passion was into this project. So I will go to the UK and then return within the next 2-3 months. Then I'll come and work with the guys on the ground. Then I'll move back to the UK, work my ass off a bit, and then come back to Ghana and then work on the farm. So in the first 2-3 years, I was going back and forward like that because I wanted it to work. And then after, I think the 4th year to the 5th year, then I started coming twice in a year. And then eventually, when it took root, I had Noah. I started the farm with Noah, and Noah is still with me. He's my lead farmer. So whatever instructions I give him, whatever I learn, and whatever I think should be done to make sure the farm is stable, I always communicate with him, and he always gives me feedback. And based on this feedback, we are in constant communication.
10 years down the lane, he has expanded the farm with the help of 3 permanent farm hands. He now cultivates 2 acres of mango, 2 acres of orange, and 4 acres of coconut. He also cultivates mango, orange, and coconut on a 4-acre land and has started experimenting with animal husbandry and poultry production. On average, Samuel harvests about 2 tons of cocoa beans at the end of the farming season, but believes he would be able to increase yield if provided with the requisite inputs. He, however, expressed grief at how some clerks schemed to exploit poor cocoa farmers in the area.
The worst part is, you go through all these challenges and then you get the beans. You go to the cocoa purchasing clerks. And what they do is they adjust the scale to the point where a year ago I got cocoa and sent to the cocoa where they buy the cocoa class to buy my cocoa beans. I was there when my farmer brought me what we sold, and I said this cannot be right, because the work I do back in the UK, I work with weights. So as at the time we took the cocoa from here to the purchasing clerk, I know the kind of weight we've got. So coming back and giving me some kind of money in my pocket, I thought, no, this is not right. So this has been adjusted to about 10 kilograms. That is just going to somebody's pocket. After all this hard work, I went to the deputy manager, I complained to him, and the clerk was called. They interviewed him, they asked him, and he was trying to lie all over. And then, lo and behold, in course of these processes, he refunded about, I think, 300 Ghana cedis to me.
Samuel's hope came alive when he received news of being adjudged the Volta Regional Most Promising Young Cocoa Farmer in 2020. Though out of the country, he made emergency preparations to fly down to Ghana, only to be met with the greatest disappointment of his life. 7 months after attending the 36th glamorous award ceremony in Techiman, Samuel is yet to receive his award items.
Could you believe, since the 5th of November, we left Techiman up to date. When you call this person said, the equipment, this person, we have procured this, have not procured that. And to cut a long story short, what they are telling us is, at the time we were selected for the awards, there was no procurement whatsoever for us with the incentives. And that because of the creation of the new regions, Volta region was subdivided into 2. Hence, some of hence what we are supposed to receive is not ready yet. That's what they told us. So they need to go through procurement processes in order to get these things to us.
Barbara Aiti, who also cultivates 6 acres of cocoa in Likpe, was adjudged the Volta Regional Best Most Enterprising Female Cocoa Farmer. Just like Samuel, Barbara tells me several visits to the offices of the Ministry of Agriculture and Cocoa Board to receive her items proved futile. These awardees and others are hoping the authorities would act on their plea and ensure the items are released to enable them to expand their farms to increase their profit margins. Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News, Kitikpa, Abudume.
Well, Public Affairs Manager of Cocoa Board, Fifi Boafo, joins us via Zoom. Thank you very much for making time to speak with us. Now, is there any reason these 2 people haven't received their prizes since they won, several months ago?
Well, Israel, first of all, I would like to apologize to these farmers who are yet to receive the awards. It's unfortunate this has happened, but just as the gentleman indicated, there was a mishap in the preparation towards the Farmers' Day, and this has occasioned what we see today. Actually, what happened is that within cocoa industry, we have what we refer to as the cocoa regions. They are not coterminous with the originals, the national setup, which we have.
All right.
So preparations towards the national award ceremony, we're working with 7 regions. A week to the ceremony, were indicated to us that, well, we'll have to prepare for all the newly created regions. The public institutions, you are required to go through all the necessary approval processes and then the protocols to ensure that you are able to do this without any problem. It has delayed beyond the expected period, but the good news I can confirm to you is that we have dispatched the items this morning to the few awardees who are yet to receive the awards, and the expectation is that they will get the awards before the close of this week.
How many awardees are we talking about here?
We are talking about awardees from 2 affected regions.
All right.
And the expectation is that before the close of the week, they shall receive the awards. We apologize for
which regions are these apart from the Volta region?
Apart from the Volta region, the other region is the Bono region.
All right. And you're promising that this is going to get to them by when?
Before the close of this week.
All right. Thank you very much. But he also raised another issue which has to do with clerks of produce buying companies shortchanging them, which has been the subject of the Joy News documentary. Now, how do you respond to that? Because it appears this is still a problem.
Israel, we have talked about this issue, and just like you referred to, there was a documentary on your network where the issue was brought forward for discussion. What Cocoa Board has done is that we are procuring non-adjustable electronic weighing scales, which will be distributed to all purchasing clerks.
Okay.
And that is the solution to this problem. So the expectation is that by the time these non-adjustable weighing scales are distributed to all purchasing clerks, it will ensure that this problem that has persisted and the farmers being at the receiving end will be a thing of the past.
All right, thank you very much. Public Affairs Manager of Cocoa Board, Fifi Boafo.